Namaskar and welcome to Midday Prime. Well, it's halfway through the day and we'll be getting you updates from Parliament and also from the world of business and sports. Now, today is also the birthday of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the BJP is celebrating this week as Service Week, Seva Saptah, in honor of the Prime Minister's dedicated service to the nation. Let's begin by looking at the big news at this hour. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh makes a statement in the Rajya Sabha on the current status of the LAC and says that the government is committed to safeguarding the sovereignty and integrity of the country. The Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan replies to the discussion in the Rajya Sabha on COVID-19 situation, says that the vaccine will be available early next year. The 70th birthday of Prime Minister Narendra Modi being celebrated as Seva Divas today. The BJP is observing Seva Saptah by organizing several public welfare programs across the country. President Ramnath Kovind, cabinet colleagues of the Prime Minister and distinguished personalities extend their greetings. In a major breakthrough, security forces neutralized 3 terrorists in an encounter in Batmalu area of Srinagar. The operation has concluded and troops have recovered 3 dead bodies along with weapons. A civilian also died while a deputy commandant of the CRPF was injured. India's fight against COVID-19 continues. 82,719 patients recover in the last 24 hours. According to the ICMR, recoveries now have become 4 times more than the active cases. COVID-19 cases have crossed the 3 crore mark worldwide. Over 9.4 lakh people have died so far, and the WHO has warned that COVID-19 momentum as the winter looms in the northern hemisphere. They warned that it could be quite serious. Let's begin with the big story at this time now. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh spoke in the Rajya Sabha on the developments in Ladakh, and he said that on the 15th of June, Colonel Santosh Babu, along with his 19 brave soldiers, made the supreme sacrifice in Galwan Valley towards the cause of defending the territorial integrity of the country.
उल्लंघन में चीन द्वारा एक बहुत ही वायलेंट फेस आउट की स्थिति 15 जून को गलवान में क्रिएट की गई। हमारे बहादुर सिपाहियों ने, बहादुर जवानों ने अपनी जान का बलिदान दिया, पर साथ ही चीनी पक्ष को भी भारी क्षति पहुंचाई है सभापति महोदय, और अपनी सीमा की सुरक्षा में कामयाब भी रहे हैं। इस पूरी अवधि के दौरान हमारे बहादुर जवानों ने जहां संयम की जरूरत थी वहां संयम रखा, और जहां शौर्य की जरूरत थी वहां शौर्य का भी प्रदर्शन किया।
Well, the Defence Minister also said that China has illegally occupied 38,000 square kilometers of Indian territory in Ladakh.
चाइना लद्दाख में भारत की लगभग 38,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर भूमि का अनधिकृत या कब्जा किए हुए है। इसके अलावा 1963 में एक तथाकथित बाउंड्री एग्रीमेंट के तहत पाकिस्तान ने पाक ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर की 5,880 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर भारतीय जमीन अवैध रूप से चाइना को सौंप दी है। चाइना अरुणाचल प्रदेश की सीमा से लगे हुए लगभग 90,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर भारतीय क्षेत्र को भी अपना ही बताता है।
And the Defence Minister also said that India wants a peaceful solution to the boundary question and will not shy away from any action required to defend the sovereignty of the country.
हमारी सरकार ने भी बॉर्डर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए बजट को बढ़ाया है, जो पहले से लगभग 2 गुना से अधिक है। इसके फलस्वरूप बॉर्डर एरियाज में काफी रोड्स और ब्रिजेस भी बनाए गए हैं। इससे न केवल लोकल पॉपुलेशन को जरूरी कनेक्टिविटी ही मिली है, बल्कि हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस को बेहतर लॉजिस्टिकल सपोर्ट भी मिला है। इसके कारण वे बॉर्डर एरियाज में अधिक अलर्ट रह सकते हैं और जरूरत पड़ने पर बेहतर जवाबी कार्रवाई भी कर सकते हैं। और आने वाले समय में भी सरकार इस उद्देश्य के प्रति पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध रहेगी। देश हित में हमें कितना ही बड़ा और कितना ही कड़ा कदम उठाना पड़े सभापति महोदय, हम पीछे नहीं हटेंगे।
Well, Rajnath Singh further said that respecting and strictly observing the line of actual control is the basis for peace and tranquility in the border areas.
भारत था चाइना, दोनों ने औपचारिक तौर पर यह माना है कि सीमा का प्रश्न एक जटिल मुद्दा है जिसके समाधान के लिए पेशेंस की आवश्यकता है तथा इस मुद्दे का फेयर, रीजनेबल और म्यूचुअली एक्सेप्टेबल समाधान शांतिपूर्ण बातचीत के द्वारा निकाला जाए। ये दोनों इस बात पर सहमत हैं। अंतरिम रूप से दोनों पक्षों ने यह मान लिया है कि सीमा पर शांति और स्थिरता बहाल रखना द्विपक्षीय संबंधों को बढ़ाने के लिए यह नितांत आवश्यक है।
And Abhishek Jha joins us now with an update on this and all other news from Parliament. Well, Abhishek, put this into context for us. I mean, this is the second statement after the Defence Minister has already spoken in the Lok Sabha and, making it amply clear that India's territorial and integrity and sovereignty are not to be compromised at any cost. And India is ready to, defend the borders. Nobody in the world, no force on earth can prevent India from patrolling the borders. A very clear statement and a very clear signal to the adversaries.
Yes, Mark, and he has actually reiterated most of the part what he has already said in Lok Sabha.
Yes.
But nevertheless, this gives a clear signal to the aggressor side that India is not going to compromise on the matters of sovereignty and national integrity. He's also said that this discussion at this parliament, this gives a symbolic support, a moral support to the forces and the security personnel guarding our borders in harsh weather condition, that the country is standing by them, and this will help them fare through all those harsh realities or conditions at the borders. He's also said that government's preparedness for the upcoming winter season and along the border has been very quick, and government's resolve to ensure the supplies, the logistical support, and the special suits and tent house and food that would be required by the forces in the next 4-5 months if they are going to stay in those areas has been very much online, and there will be no dearth of any financial support, any logistical support for all the forces standing guarding our borders. He's also said that India does not want to escalate the tension along the border, and it seems on the face of it that both the sides want to have a de-escalation going forward because of the diplomatic dialogues we have been seeing, because of the ministerial meeting. At least 2 ministerial meetings had happened in the last 15 days when Defense Minister met his Chinese counterpart and Foreign Minister met his own Chinese counterpart in Moscow on the sidelines of SCO. There was this 5-pronged strategy also that was devised during those meetings. But we must also know that those 5-pronged approach has to be translated on the ground. Then only there would be some sense of relief or assurance for India to, lower the guard and, have some sort of relaxation yes.
Right. But he's also, put into context the, the nature of the situation with regard to China, because first of all, the idea that China has a different perception of the LAC. Also, the idea that China doesn't do what it says. I mean, it says one thing, there's a dialogue that's going on. It says something at the dialogue, but it doesn't fulfill its, its commitments based on that. So this is a difficult situation to deal with. And really the only solution at a time like this is to defend the border to the best of our ability, which is what he, stressed on. I mean, the measures that we are taking to defend the border. How would you look at this, in the context of since you follow international affairs as well, the idea of dealing with a country like China at a time like this? One
part of
second,
this-
Abhishek, I'll have to stop you there because we've got some live image coming in. We are going across now to the INB Minister, Mr. Prakash Javadekar, who is planting a tree. He's planting a tree. This is the plantation drive that's taking place on account of Seva Saptah. Seva Saptah is the service week being organized in honor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday, and the plantation drive, of course, we know that Mr. Prakash Javadekar is also the Environment Minister, and tree plantation drive is an extremely significant symbol also of protection of the environment. So this plantation drive, apart from that, Seva Saptah has various other aspects, including blood donation camps and also service to those who are lesser privileged and people who are Divyangs, who are handicapped. We're back with Abhishek. Abhishek, are you with us? Yes, Abhishek, you can go ahead with your answer. I had asked you a question a little earlier. Abhishek, we can't hear you. 1 second. We have to get your audio readjusted. Are we clear with Abhishek? Can we hear him? I'm afraid, Abhishek, we are not able to get your audio, so I'll come back to you in a little while. But are we joined by the Director of India Foundation, Mr. Alok Bansal? Is Mr. Bansal with us?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Okay, so let me ask you, now the situation is very clear that the Defense Minister made it very clear that no force on earth can actually prevent India from patrolling the border. How significant is that statement coming at a time, just before the winters set in that area? Once again, I need to stop you before we start because we're just going across live once again.
वाढदिवस म्हणजे केवळ सरकार पुरे अशी कल्पना न ठेवता नरेंद्र मोदी आणि पक्षाने असं ठरवलं की सेवा सप्ताह म्हणून हे पाळायचं आणि सेवा सप्ताहामध्ये गरजूंची सेवा करणं हा त्याचा भाग आहे आणि म्हणून प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदींचं वैशिष्ट्य काय त्यांच्या दृष्टिकोनातच आहे ते वैशिष्ट्य प्रधानमंत्री नाही प्रधान सेवक म्हणतात स्वतःला जनतेचं गरिबांचं शोषितांचं पीडितांचं वंचितांचं राजकारण ते करतात या ध्येयावर त्यांची वाटचाल चालू आहे आणि त्यांनी राजकारणात त्यांची तुलना नाही किंवा कुणाशी कॉम्पिटिशन नाही त्यांनी स्वतःची रेघ राजकारणाची इतकी मोठी केली आहे रेषा आणि म्हणून आज मोदीजींनी जगामध्ये भारताची प्रतिमा वाढवली आणि देशभर विकासाचं एक नवं पर्व सुरू केलं ज्यामध्ये गोरगरिबाला सन्मान आहे आणि म्हणून मध्यमवर्गीयाला दिलासा आहे आणि उद्योजकांना वाव आहे अशा स्वरूपाचं चांगलं विकासाचं रास्ता त्यांनी या देशाला दाखवला म्हणून लोक खुश आहेत आणि आत्ता जगभर सगळ्या नेत्यांच्या लोकप्रियतेत घट होताना दिसते पण सर्वे मागून सर्वे केले तर प्रत्येक सर्वेक्षणात मोदींची लोकप्रियता मात्र केवळ अबाधित नाही तर ती वाढतच आहे असं दिसतं हे
Well, that was Prakash Javadekar, the Minister for Environment, Forests and Climate Change and Information Broadcasting. He was speaking in Marathi at Maharashtra Southern, where he just planted a sapling in honor of Seva Week, which is the celebration of the week in the service of the nation, the service of the nation, that the Prime Minister, because it's his birthday today, in the service of the nation. And in fact, he was mentioning that the Prime Minister calls himself Pradhan Sevak, which is the main service, the servant of the nation. So let's go back to Alok Bansal. Mr. Bansal, yes, so I was asking you really about the situation on the border with regard to the winters coming, and the importance of the statement that no force on earth can actually prevent us from patrolling our border. At this
There are a few very important points which
Yes.
Defense Minister Rajnath Singh said in his statement in Rajya Sabha.
Yes.
And we need to ponder over that. The first point which he made very categorically was it was the Chinese provocation which actually resulted in Indian troops acting. The
Yes.
second thing which he said, and which is very, very important, and he says that we would want a peaceful negotiations, but we are prepared for all contingencies. And this is what is very important, that at this point of time, both India and China should actually want peace. War is in nobody's interest. So we want peace, but we are prepared for all contingencies. He also said that we have doubled our budget as far as border infrastructure is concerned. And this is very, very important because now the winters are coming, the troops have to be geared up. I think the moment your infrastructure is good, like last time he had said that 6 airfields in Ladakh are going to be activated. So building up your infrastructure for winter stocking, everything has been done. There have been reports that more than a year's stock of supplies as well as armament, ammunition, etc. has been stocked. So we are prepared for a long haul. But at the same time, he has reiterated that we want peaceful resolution. Another thing which he reiterated and very important is that there is a difference between what the Chinese say and what they do.
Yeah.
In fact, they have violated all the agreements that were reached in 1993 and 1996
Really?
by their recent actions. So he has categorically stated, he gave facts of the matter as to how much territory is under their occupation, what Pakistan gave it to them, and then came up to this and actually laid in front of the House all the details. And what is extremely pleasing is that there was a bipartisan support for this. All the parties, all the members supported Raksha Mantri in his
Right.
statement and exhibited their support for the Indian Army and Indian Armed Forces in their quest to ensure the territorial integrity of this country. And this is extremely heartening because it gives a message across the borders to everyone that all citizens of India, all political parties, all those who matter in India support their army, support their armed forces in maintaining the territorial integrity of India.
Right, but when we look at the nature of China, that first of all, it was their provocative action. They decided to try and change the status quo on their part. They are not a reliable, party in this whole thing because they say one thing and then they do something else. So we are dealing with a situation which is not where rules based in a sense. We're dealing with an adversary who is actually not willing to follow any sort of protocol. And in this context, the statement of us being able to defend and we are ready to defend becomes very important, and especially at a time when the winter comes in. Doubling of the budget on infrastructure at the border is important, but also the importance of bringing in your strategic assets to support, because at a time when the winter comes in, it's not going to really be men on the ground. You'll really require machines in the air that will need to supplement in case of conflagration.
See, there is no doubt that machines, equipment, and armament should be brought to fore. But eventually, it will be the men who will matter. And it is Indian armed forces which are far better trained, far more acclimatized to that particular atmosphere, that terrain, which will prevail over Chinese who come on a short call of duty. The
Yes.
second thing which we need to understand is that the Chinese don't adhere to agreements because Chinese government is an autocratic government. It does not represent the aspirations of the Chinese people. Please bear it in mind that an average Chinese citizen bears no animosity towards India. Unfortunately, what the PLA does or what the Communist Party of China does not reflect the aspirations of a common Chinese man. So it is in interest of China as well as in India to go for a long haul peace. But if PLA continues to behave in this irredentist behavior, Indian Army and Indian Armed Forces are all prepared. And as has been shown recently, where we are not going to only react, we are now going to act proactively, as was done on the
Right.
southern bank of Pangong Tso Lake, where we actually preempted actions by Chinese and occupied those tactical heights which Chinese were trying to occupy.
Right, and how would you look at, the Chinese aggressive attitude at this point in time? Because, the whole world is suffering from a bit of an economic recession caused by COVID, which came about because of China. China doesn't seem to have had that kind of impact on their country as yet. And, they are probably looking at this as an opportunity to try and, reshape the world and, to gain some sort of advantage or a foothold based on investments that they've made in the past and perhaps, reassessing their own position. But it isn't really a time for this kind of an aggressive attitude. And, it could be very counterproductive because the whole world does not actually like something like this happening.
There is no doubt about it that China has been cornered internationally. I think there is a huge anger against China. And I think if you see the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, as well as their Politburo member in charge of the foreign affairs, has been visiting many European countries to garner and drum up support. But at the same time, there are two things which we need to understand. The China has managed to bounce back from this pandemic very fast. Their economy has started growing again, whereas most other countries of the world are in recession. So probably Chinese feel that this is a window of opportunity.
Yes.
At the same time, they are being cornered. I think internationally there is a huge opposition. So I feel even within the Chinese policy-making circles, there would be a review as to this sort of a foolhardiness which PLA has exhibited. This also shows that there is actually a huge dichotomy between what one arm of the Chinese state does and another arm does. Because if you see, before the Raksha Mantri was having discussions, you had incursion, you had conflict. Before now, foreign minister was having a discussion, you again had on the northern bank of Pangong. So there seems to be a dichotomy between PLA and the State Department. In fact, so much so that if we go back into history, you'll realize when Prime Minister Li Keqiang visited India, there was a deep incursion. When President Xi Jinping visited India, there was an incursion. So either the PLA is not under the total control of the party, or it has become stray because the way the PLA is trained, it is neither a disciplined force, or it is a tactical ploy to actually try both the tactics simultaneously.
Yes.
And we need to be cautious. And I think Indian armed forces, Indian establishment is now prepared for any treacherous behavior from China, and we are prepared to counteract and deal with it. And that is what this Raksha Mantri's statement has given, what the parliamentary support cutting across party lines has exhibited, that Indian armed forces have no dearth of either the resources or the support as far as this country is concerned in dealing with the Chinese and ensuring the territorial integrity of this country.
Alok Bansal, thank you very much for being with us, Strategic Affairs expert and director at the India Foundation. Now moving on then to our next story, the Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that we are expecting that in the beginning of next year a vaccine would be available in the country. Let's listen to what he said.
वैक्सीन के लिए जैसे दुनिया भर में प्रयास हो रहे हैं, वैसे ही उतने ही प्रभावी प्रयास भारत में हो रहे हैं। और भारत में हमारे जो कैंडिडेट वैक्सीन हैं, उसमें 3 लगभग ऐसे हैं जो फेज़ 1, फेज़ 2 और फेज़ 3 के अंदर पहुंच गए हैं। प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में एक एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप इस सारे विषय को भी बहुत गहराई से अध्ययन कर रहा है। एडवांस्ड इसके संदर्भ में प्लानिंग है। हमारे को उम्मीद है कि अगले साल के शुरुआत के अंदर हमें भारत के अंदर वैक्सीन उपलब्ध हो जानी चाहिए।
And Dr. Harshvardhan also spoke on migrant laborers. Let's listen to what he said.
इस प्रकार से होम मिनिस्ट्री ने समय समय पर लगातार पहले लॉकडाउन के 4 चरण और बाद में अब अनलॉक के 4 चरण, और इसके बीच में जो लोगों को तकलीफ़ें आ सकती थी, उनका एम्प्लॉयमेंट को बचाने के लिए जो एसेंशियल चीज़ें हैं, उनकी आवाजाही सब जगह पर किस प्रकार से स्मूथली चल सकती है। क्या आप सोच सकते हैं कि इस कोविड के दौरान भी, कोविड के इतने बड़े खतरे को साथ लेकर जब चल रहे थे लोग, उस परिस्थिति में भी 64 लाख जो है हमारे माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स को ट्रेन्स के माध्यम से, हमारे रेल मंत्रालय ने बसों के माध्यम से जो है अपने अपने स्टेट्स के अंदर भेजा।
Let's now move on to our next segment, which is the developing story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi turned 70 today, and the BJP is organizing a week-long Seva Saptaha to celebrate the Prime Minister's birthday. The BJP President JP Nadda began the Seva Saptaha, in fact, from Noida in Uttar Pradesh and participated in a plantation program there. The party leaders and workers will celebrate Seva Week by participating in plantation drives, also attending other kinds of programs and helping Divyang Jan, and also by donating blood and plasma.
This is the story of the person who is among the most powerful leaders of the world. This is the story of the political leader who is the most popular Prime Minister of the largest democracy in the world.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं.
The journey of Narendra Modi begins from the bylanes of Vadnagar, Gujarat. Born on 17 September 1950, Narendra Modi is the third child of Damodar Das Modi and Hiraba. Early life was spent in abject poverty. Narendra Modi used to help his father in a tea stall at railway station after his school. He joined Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh with an aim to dedicate himself to national service. During the emergency, Narendra got a chance to work with several top leaders of the country. In the year 1987, he was instructed to work with Bharatiya Janata Party. In October 2001, Narendra Modi took oath as Gujarat Chief Minister. From 2001 to 14, Narendra Modi was not only praised for being the most capable administrator and chief minister across the country, but also established himself as a development man. BJP made Narendra Modi as its prime ministerial candidate. Results not only established Narendra Modi as the country's most popular leader, but this also led to any party getting complete majority on its own at the centre for the first time in 3 decades. By bowing his head at the most sacred temple of democracy, he gave a message that, for him, preserving and protecting democratic values are foremost. Whether be it talk of realizing the vision of New India or the courage to resolve issues pending for the past 70 years, Narendra proved that Modi hai to mumkin hai. In the past 6 years, Modi government was seen continuously in action mode.
सरकार वो हो जो गरीबों को सुने, सरकार वो हो जो गरीबों के लिए जिए.
In 2019 general elections, BJP and NDA got a big win, more than earlier under Narendra Modi's leadership. The most important reason for this victory was due to the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. Before the move to abrogate Article 370 got Parliament's approval, there was no certainty that such bold decision could be taken by the country's leadership. Likewise, peaceful resolution of Ram Janmabhoomi dispute is not only end of a dispute, but has become a big booster to India's bright future.
मेरी सरकार का एक ही धर्म है, इंडिया फर्स्ट.
Whether it is tough strike against terrorism or putting brakes on Maoist violent extremism, in the past 6 years on these fronts, a lot of work was done than perhaps in the past 3 to 4 decades. This was not all. When Chinese troops created standoff on our northern borders in Ladakh, our troops replied befittingly, telling them that raising their finger on India could prove counterproductive for them, be it the act of reaching out to over 80 crore people with free ration under PM Garib Kalyan Yojana during COVID pandemic, or the decision of providing economic help through various ways, or jobs to poor families, farmers, workers and women. Prime Minister Modi in right earnest showed that government is one that lives and works for the poor. These decisions are helping in a big way to realize Narendra Modi's dream to make the country and every citizen Atmanirbhar or self-reliant. Narendra Modi's foreign policy imperative has realized the actual capability and rule of the world's largest democracy, staying amidst people, sharing joys with them, and removing their sorrows is the goal of Narendra Modi. He is the leader of the masses, dedicated to solve problems of common people and improving their living standards. Bureau Report, DD India.
नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी.
Well, greetings are pouring in to wish Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his birthday today. The President of the country, President Ramnath Kovind, tweeted and extended greetings and best wishes to Prime Minister Modi. The President wished him good health so that the nation can benefit from his invaluable services. Extending birthday greetings to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that PM Modi's enlightened leadership has taken India to newer heights both domestically and internationally. May he be blessed with a long and healthy life. The National President of the Bharatiya Janata Party, J.P. Nadda, also greeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his 70th birth anniversary. The BJP President tweeted, and I quote, "Heartfelt greetings to Jananayak, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who has raised the honor of Bharatvarsha in the world by moving the country on the path of progress. From life building to nation building, your life is an inspiration for all of us." Union Minister Prakash Javadekar also extended his greetings to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his birthday. The INB minister said PM Modi has taken the country to new heights with determination and strong willpower.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a hope to the people of India that yes, our country will change for the better and change faster. He has given a hope and has proved in last 6 years that he is a doer. He does what he speaks, and he speaks what he thinks in the larger interest of the country. He has no other obsession except to serve the nation. And therefore, people's love and affection for him is growing day by day. And we are seeing the highest approval rating all over.
Well, netizens and Bollywood celebrities have also flooded social media to pour in birthday wishes for our Prime Minister. Amongst everyone, singer Lata Mangeshkar has wished Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying, "May you live a long life." The Indian cricket team captain Virat Kohli has sent birthday greetings to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has tweeted, wishing a very happy birthday to our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. And the German Chancellor Angela Merkel greeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his 70th birthday. Merkel, in her letter to the Prime Minister, said, "Please accept my warmest congratulations on the occasion of your 70th birthday. I'm happy to take this opportunity to thank you for our trustful and constructive cooperation." The Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli greeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his 70th birthday and vowed to continue to work closely together towards strengthening bilateral relations. The Nepalese Prime Minister tweeted warm greetings to Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji on the auspicious occasion of your birthday. I wish you good health and happiness. We will continue working closely together to further strengthen relations between our two countries. The Russian President Vladimir Putin extended greetings to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his 70th birthday and lauded his personal contribution to the strengthening of strategic partnership between India and Russia. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Vladimir Putin said, "Kindly accept my heartfelt congratulations on your 70th birth anniversary." And let's listen to what people have to say about Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his birthday.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी
हम देख सकते हैं कि अभी जो नया पॉलिसी आया है स्टडी के लिए, जो एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है, वो आजकल के स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटीज देने वाला है।
आत्मनिर्भर भारत is also a visionary decision which will give the nation a fruits of आत्मनिर्भरता within few years.
कृषि के क्षेत्र में वो आज तो कोई प्रधानमंत्री ने किया होगा। मिट्टी जांच योजना हो, पीएम सम्मान निधि योजना हो, केसीसी योजना हो, आज पीएम सम्मान निधि के साथ जो किसान को पीएम सम्मान निधि मिल रहा है उनको केसीसी देने का भी काम कर रहे हैं।
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी
And we're going to be joined by our correspondents now. Meghna will be joining us from Delhi, Sharma from Mumbai, and I can see there also from Bengaluru, Aisha Khanam. These three will be joining us right now. Let's begin with Meghna from Delhi. Well, Meghna, it's Sapta Seva, Seva Sapta rather. The service week. So tell us, what are the initiatives that are being done in honor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi by the Bharatiya Janata Party and the government also here in Delhi.
Absolutely, Mark, when we know that the Seva Saptah, the week-long celebration for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 70th birthday is going on, and we have seen it is being celebrated on the theme of 70, wherein there are several cleanliness drives organized, there are several blood donation camps organized. There are also things that have been organized at places where we know that there are several places. There are plantation drives also organized. There is also we are here at an exhibition here at the BJP headquarters. I will show you the exhibition now, where we have Prime Minister Narendra Modi, several pictures and several initiatives that he has taken, be it terrorism, be it focusing on Northeast, and all these initiatives have been, put up here at the BJP headquarters. So this is an exhibition which have been put up here, and when we also see the Namo app, where we have the Namo app, people are wishing him on the Namo app, and also there is a 360-degree virtual exhibition there on the Namo app as well. So this is a small exhibition that is here at the BJP headquarters, and also when we were here at the BJP headquarters, we had seen an inauguration of a book called Narendra at 70. And this book basically is a compilation of several eminent personalities and several people across the globe who have written articles for Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he turns 70, this 17th today. And when we know that there are several dignitaries like Bharat Ratna Lata Mangeshkar, Karnam Mirza Baneshwari, there's also Milkha Singh, and there are several other people across the globe, be it Tony Abbott, the former Prime Minister of Australia. So there are several people who have written about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So there's definitely, this is a celebration here, or the celebration for the Seva Saptah, a week-long celebration, and also a celebration across the globe for him. Yes, ma'am.
Indeed. Let's go across then to Sharma, who's joining us from Mumbai. Well, Sharma, we know that Bollywood celebrities have already come out in praise of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, wished him. The art and culture world also. So really, Mumbai, which is more the financial, also the cinema capital of the country. How do they view this, this day, and also the idea of service to the nation?
Well, it is the financial capital and also the capital for Bollywood, or rather the film industry, and we've already seen messages pouring in on all social medias, including Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. The film industry stars, they have also wished, and they wished for a happy and a rather healthy life of Prime Minister, and they have also been doing several kind of services, because we are celebrating Seva Saptah here in Maharashtra as well. So determination and strong will is what the message is coming out from Prime Minister, but service is what rather is inspiring a lot of people, and the entire BJP here in Maharashtra is celebrating the Seva Saptah, and the entire week we've seen a lot of food distribution drives, cleanliness drives, tree plantation drives. That has been happening here. Today where I am, this is BJP office, Vasant Smriti, they would be distributing wheelchairs to the Divyangjan,
Right.
and that also is an crucial part where we are also looking out for Divyangjans, not
Okay.
just the common tree plantation or the fruit distribution drive. Here it is an important drive where all the Divyangjan are called, they are invited, and then they
Yes.
would be also given the wheelchair that they have been mantling right here. And we've also seen several events that have been happening all over Maharashtra, even in the COVID hospitals.
Right.
The BJP
Absolutely.
youth activists, they have been distributing various kits,
Right.
safety kits to the doctors, safety kits to the health workers. Fruits I've already mentioned. So the entire
Yes.
week would be,
So the priority
dedicated
of
to the
service
people and
comes
the
out
service to
because
human.
service and duty, because even at the time of COVID, people are not afraid to come out and actually serve people, and that is a very good sign, especially on a day like this in honor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday. Aisha is joining us from Bengaluru. Well, Aisha, Bangalore has it has the tag now of being the IT capital of the country, and high tech and all that. But otherwise, as well, Bangalore has other interests, and we can see that service is not something that is that Bangalore doesn't know anything about. Bangalore is a place which has seen a lot of service, and I'm sure that the Bharatiya Janata Party is taking the initiative in trying to promote the Seva Saptah in Bengaluru as well.
Yes, absolutely, Mark. Bangalore and entire Karnataka is celebrating Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday. In fact, in Mangalore, the birthday celebrations began little early. That is from September 14th to September 28th will be the Seva Saptaha week. So the celebration started in Mangalore, from where the Karnataka state BJP President Nalin Katil hails from. So there have been camps, there have been plasma donation camps, which is very essential in these challenging COVID times. So at many places across the state, the BJP has organized plasma donation camps, which is right now the need of the hour. So this Seva Saptaha week is being seen as a week where people can connect with Prime Minister's commitment to the nation and connect with the services, and also they connect with his simplicity. So this is the time where they can rededicate themselves in service of the nation along with Prime Minister's efforts and his vision. So that is how people are connecting here in in Bangalore. Also, since morning there have been celebration outside the BJP office. There have been planting of saplings led by State BJP Vice President Nirmal Surana. But of course, this celebration is not just limited to BJP office. People across the walks of life are greeting the Prime Minister on the occasion of his birthday. And Bangalore being the digital capital, people are using the apps, they are using the digital technology to wish him and greet him and connect with his vision and rededicate themselves to in the service of the nation.
Right, Aisha Khanam and Shama Mishra, thank you very much for being with us. Moving on then to our next segment, which is the National Prime segment. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists were gunned down in an encounter that broke out between security forces and terrorists in Batmalu area of Srinagar earlier this morning. And following a tip-off about the presence of terrorists in the locality, the CRPF and the police, they launched a cordon and search operation in Batmalu. That happened in the wee hours of the morning, and it turned into an encounter, after which the terrorists had opened fire on the security forces. The bodies of the 3 terrorists have been recovered from there, along with the weapons. A CRPF official received bullet injuries and is undergoing treatment. This operation has concluded.
आज भी ऐसा ही एक ऑपरेशन बटमालू के एरिया में श्रीनगर सिटी में हुआ, जिसमें 3 दहशतगर्द मारे गए। अनफॉर्चुनेटली उस फायर के दौरान एक हमारे डिप्टी कमांडेंट सीआरपी की तरफ से जो सीआरपी टीम को केओटी को लीड कर रहे थे, उनको गोलियां लगी, जख्मी हैं, बेस हॉस्पिटल में है। और साथ ही एक महिला कौंसल रियाज जो उस वक्त उसी स्पॉट पे थी, उसको भी एक्सचेंज ऑफ फायर के दौरान गोली लगी और अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसकी डेथ भी हो गई।
So let's now take a look at the COVID update from across the country. Various calibrated and focused action is undertaken under the umbrella of test, track and treat. And also this has enabled early identification of cases. It's led to a high number of COVID-19 patients recovering very quickly and are being discharged from hospitals. In fact, the total of 82,719 patients have recovered. They've been discharged from hospital and in the last 24 hours. And with this now, the recovery rate has reached 78.64%, and over 10 lakh active cases have been reported across the country. The fatality rate has dropped to 1.63%. Over 82,000 patients recovered in the last 24 hours. You're watching Midday Prime, and it's time now for news and updates from the world of business. And my colleague Shubhendu is bringing us the business news. Over to you, Shubhendu.
Thank you, Mark, and welcome to Business Prime. Domestic equity benchmark Sensex dropped over 200 points in early trade, led by losses in financial stocks after US Federal Reserve highlighted the uncertainty surrounding economic recovery. BSE index was trading 216 points at 39,086, while the NSE Nifty fell some 44 points to 11,560. ICICI Bank was the top laggard in the Sensex pack, followed by HDFC Bank, Power Grid, Bajaj Auto, Kotak Bank, Axis Bank and L&T. On the other hand, HCL, Tech Mahindra, Asian Paints, ONGC and Infosys were among the gainers. Meanwhile, global oil benchmark Brent crude was trading 0.90% lower at US dollar 41.84%. And the rupee depreciated 24 paise to 73.76 against the US dollar in the opening trade on Thursday, tracking muted domestic equities and strengthening American currency. An income tax department has issued refunds of over rupees 1.06 lakh crore to more than 30 lakh taxpayers till September 15th. In a tweet, Central Board of Direct Taxes said income tax refunds of 31,741 crore rupees have been issued in over 29 lakh cases, and corporate tax refunds of 74,729 crore rupees have been issued in over 1,74,000 cases. And the country's largest lender, State Bank of India, will make OTP-based cash withdrawal facility operational round the clock at its ATM for transactions of rupees 10,000 and above from September 18th, that is tomorrow. In January this year, the lender had introduced OTP-based cash withdrawals for above rupees 10,000 between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. through all its ATMs. For withdrawals of rupees 10,000 and above, the bank's debit card holders will now have to enter the OTP sent on their registered mobile numbers along with their debit card PIN each time. Implementing this facility throughout the day would prevent SBI debit card holders from the risk of falling prey to fraudsters, unauthorized withdrawals, card skimming, card cloning, and similar practices. The lender has urged all its customers to register and update their mobile numbers. OTP-based cash withdrawal facility is available only at SBI ATMs, as this functionality has not yet been developed at the non-SBI ATMs in the national financial switch. And US President Donald Trump has said he's looking into American major Oracle's reported bid for Chinese-owned video sharing app TikTok and want to ensure there is no compromise on national security before approving the deal. Remember, last month, Trump signed an executive order to ban TikTok and WeChat by September 15th unless the ownership of the two Chinese companies changed to American. Initially, Microsoft was involved in the talks with ByteDance that owns TikTok platform. However, now Oracle has entered into the deal in this regard with ByteDance. Trump told reporters at the White House that before approving the deal, he would like to ensure there is no compromise on national security and that US Treasury gets large chunk of the business transaction. Remember, this Chinese app has already been banned in India for reasons of national security. Well, that's all we had in Business Prime. For more news, it's back to you, Mark.
Thanks very much, Shubhendu. And now let's get you all the news that's coming in from across the world. Let's take a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the world. The overall number of global coronavirus cases has surpassed the 3 crore mark, while the deaths have increased to over 9.45 lakh worldwide. As many as 2.17 crore people have recovered from the virus. That's the good news so far. The United States continues to top the list, being the worst hit country by this pandemic so far, with the highest number of COVID-19 cases. The US has recorded over 68.28 lakh cases of COVID-19, and deaths also are crossing over 2 lakhs. So in terms of deaths, in fact, Brazil stands at number 2 with about 1.34 lakh deaths, and they have about 44.21 lakh COVID cases in Brazil. Well, the World Health Organization has warned that COVID-19 is spreading at a worrying pace in some parts of the Northern Hemisphere. A few months away from the winter influenza season, the WHO technical lead for COVID-19, Maria van Kerkhove, as well as, in fact, they were saying that they are seeing an increase in hospitalizations in intensive care units in several places, including in Spain, France, Montenegro, Ukraine, and some states of the United States. And she said it's worrying because we're in mid-September and we haven't started the flu season yet. She, in fact, has also said that hospitalizations of people aged between 15 and 44 infected by COVID-19 is increasing in several countries. Dr. Mike Ryan, who was also in that visual, the WHO's top emergency expert, advised people who are at high risk of COVID-19 infections to get the flu vaccination, because that can help them at this time. And it's time now for news from the world of sports. And for Sports Prime, let's go across to Suchitra. Over to you, Suchitra.
Thank you, Mark. And let's start with cricket. Australia stunned England in the third ODI to win the 3-match series by 2-1. The series decider saw England post 302 for the loss of 7 wickets in 50 overs. Johnny Bairstow struck 100, while Sam Billings and Chris Woakes also helped England pile up a competitive total. In reply, Australia were once reeling at 73 for 5 before Glenn Maxwell and Alex Carey added a record stand to win the game. Maxwell and Carey scored centuries and stitched a 212-run partnership for the 6th wicket. This is now the highest 6th wicket stand in England-Australia ODIs. Paris Saint-Germain star Neymar has been suspended for 2 matches for hitting Olympique de Marseille player Alvaro Gonzalez in the back of his head during their Ligue 1 match last Sunday. The French football authorities have also opened a probe into the PSG player's claims that he was racially abused by Gonzalez during the game. On to some tennis now. Novak Djokovic defeated Salvatore Caruso 6-3, 6-2 at the Italian Open on Wednesday to win his first match since his US Open disqualification. Rafael Nadal made a winning return to the ATP Tour in his first tour-level match in 200 days. Nadal defeated fellow Spaniard Pablo Carreno Busta in a 6-1, 6-1 victory in over 73 minutes. Stefanos Tsitsipas exited the Italian Open on Wednesday with a second-round defeat to 19-year-old Italian Yannick Sinner. So those were our top sports stories. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks very much, Suchitra. And now let's get your news from our next segment, which is Live Prime News about art and culture. Star chef Vikas Khanna will be honoured with the prestigious 2020 Asian Games Games Changer Award. Now, he was awarded for feeding millions across the country amid the COVID-19 pandemic through a massive food distribution drive that he coordinated from thousands of miles away in Manhattan, in his home there in Manhattan. The Asia Game Changer Award, this is what the award is called. It's a Game Changer Award. It's launched by the Asia Society in 2014. It identifies and honors true leaders who make a positive contribution to the future of Asia. Khanna is the only Indian among 6 honorees who are named by the Asia Society as Asia Game Changers. The Guinness Book of World Records, the Guinness World Records, has adjudicated on a record-breaking achievement revealed, and it's also said that some of the stars of the new Guinness World Records 2021 book, Frank Faik Hachim from Hampshire, stands at 4 feet 5.6 inches tall and registered his name under the world's shortest bus driver. Now, whereas the American Paul Scardino now claims to be the world's has the world's largest collection of Funko Pop. Marco George from Hampshire broke the record for the fastest speed on a motorcycle while performing a headstand. Now, a handstand also on the 17th of August when so some unique world records there from the Guinness Book of World Records. And with that, we conclude Midday Prime for today. Thanks for being with us. Namaskar.